Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. We talk about Blu-rays here. And today we've got a lot to talk about. This stuff is from Radiance Films. It's from Eureka 88 Films, MVD. It's a lot of stuff. So we're going to have to be brisk, folks, brisk. But let's start with something really interesting, and that is the Gothic. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Way to go to start off. Sound like a fool. Yeah, this is a new Radiance Films box set, and I should just say, I was just pulling up Radiance's website, and I noticed that they have up for pre-order right now a new Blu-ray of Tom Noonan's film What Happened Was, which I'm a big fan of from way back, and which got a nice oscilloscope Blu-ray. It looks like they're using the same scan as that, and they're bringing over, it looks like, a lot of the features, but they have a new interview with film critic Charles Bramesco added. But anyway, that is a fascinating movie. If you're into, like, two people conversation kind of movies, but like that's underselling it because it's more like a power dynamic first date with Karen Silas and Tom Noonan, and it's really something special. Anyway, so that's a Region B release from them that's coming up, and I was very excited to see that. Okay, so the Gothic Japanese Ghost Stories box set. This is 3 ghost stories, newly restored in 4K, and I'll go through them one at a time, but it's a really nice box, as you can see, and they have their signature sort of wrap that they put on it. It's like a side J-card sort of thing. I kind of love that Radiance has made that their thing. But okay, and it also comes with a lovely book. No booklets here, folks. This is a real bound piece of printed matter. Okay, so 3 films on 3 discs in 3 separate cases, which is always nice. Let us start with Ghost of Yatsuya. Now, this one is let's see here. Kenji Misumi from Lone Wolf and Cub is in this, or directs it. It's a story in which a woman returns from the grave as a horribly disfigured phantom to torment her husband and his new bride. So that's a pretty good setup as far as I'm concerned. It has a reversible wrap with more with another look for your cover, and then like the features actually listed individually if you like it like that, which is cool. Yeah, so there's actually a more in-depth synopsis here, and it says Samurai Lemon Kazuo Hasegawa has grown distant from his wife Oya since she miscarried. Ume, the pretty young daughter of a wealthy family, falls madly in love with Lemon after he saves her from a group of drunk swordsmen. Oiwa learns about the blossoming affair and grows despondent. Without his knowledge, Lemon's associate conspire to clear the way for him to marry Ayume by poisoning his wife. But Oiwa returns from the grave as a horribly disfigured ghost to haunt him and her tormentors. Directed by Kenji Misumi, Lone Wolf and Cub, and written by Fuji Lahiro, Sancho the Bailiff, Bloody Spear at Mount Fuji, turned the quintessential Japanese ghost story into a profoundly resonant, doomed romance with chilling ghost scenes that would leave a deep mark on the creators of J-horror. And it's a widescreen movie, 239 wide. It's a Region A and B disc. That's another thing I like about a lot of the Radiance Films discs, is that they are Region A and B. Let's see here. And in terms of extras, there is a new interview with filmmaker Kiyoshi Kurosawa about the film. So obviously he's a fan of the movie, and a visual essay on the history of and adaptations of the classic Ghost Yatsuya story by author Kyoko Hirano. Reversible sleeve, which I showed you. So that's a neat, Kurosawa interview. That's super cool. So next up we have the Snow Woman. And this one, I'm just going to read the back here. Two woodcutters head into the mountains to fell an ancient tree. Caught in a snowstorm, they spend the night in a mountain lodge where a female spirit appears and takes the life of one of the men. She spares the other man's life on the condition that he never tell anyone what happened that night. The woodcutter goes on to marry the mysterious beauty Yuki, and together they have a child, but Yuki catches the eye of a lecherous lord whose advances force her to reveal a dark secret. Period film specialist Tokuzo Tanaka, a former assistant to both Akira Kurosawa and Kenji Mizoguchi, creates a broodingly atmospheric tale in which the viewer fully empathizes with the ghost, featuring a score by the original Godzilla composer Akira Ifukube. Very cool. And this has, again, these are all new 4K restorations, and so this is the reverse side of the wrap. Appreciation by filmmaker Masayuki Ochiai, 16 minutes, and The Haunted Mind of Lafcadio Hearn, a visual essay by Lafcadio Hearn scholar Paul Murray, about 7 minutes for that. So those are the features you're getting with this one. Again, another intriguing story. It almost reminded me for a second of an old Tales from the Dark Side. Don't Tell the Secret. Anyway, if you know that one, you'll know what I'm talking about. So lastly, we have Brides from Hades. And I should say, so Snow Woman is from 1968. Ghosts of Yatsuya, 1959. And then finally, Bride from Hades, also 1968. Yeah, so that's this one. And this one, Noble Samurai Shinzaburo, from one of the actors from Gamera, is visited one night by the beautiful courtesan Atsuyu, Miyoko Akaza from Lady Snowblood. She pleads with him to marry her and save her from life in a brothel. Instantly captivated by her beauty, Shinzaburo agrees, and a cautious love affair develops, but in his infatuation, he fails to realize that Atsuyu is a ghost. Bummer. His friends band together to drive off the spirit, but can the love-stricken Shinzaburo resist the haunting lure of this enchantress? Working from a script by Ugetsu's Yoshikata Yoda, original Shinobi director Setsuo Yamamoto brings this classic Japanese ghost tale to the screen with breathtaking stylistic beauty. His visualization of the alluring female ghost prefigures a Chinese ghost story and greatly inspired the J-horror movement. Again, this is a widescreen. These are all region A and B. 4K restorations. This has an appreciation by filmmaker and screenwriter Hiroshi Takahashi. That's 18 minutes, and an audio commentary by critic and author Jasper Sharp. And again, you can see the sort of reverse wrap here. So that's cool when they do that inside of a box set. But it's a nice looking box set. And then on top of that, as I said, we have this book, which is a beauty. And it's like, matte finish. And I don't know. This is a really nice box set. They've done some really wonderful work with the box sets. Let's see here. Limited edition 80-page perfect bound book featuring new writing by authors Tom Mess, Zach Davison, and Paul Murray. Newly translated archival reviews and ghost stories by Lafcadio Hearn. So a really winner of a box set, it looks like to me. from Radiance. So that is a good way to start this. Moving on, we have Japanese organized crime boss, and this one is from 1969. They're definitely focused on Asian cinema of the 50s and 60s, and I really think that's very cool, in my opinion. Okay, so two major Yakuza factions from Tokyo and Osaka battle over control of Yokohama using local gangs and their proxies. Amid this violent struggle, Tsukamoto, Koji Tsuruta from Big Time Gambling Boss, Big Time Gambling Boss is still one of my favorite releases from Radiance. Highly recommended if you haven't had a chance yet to check that one out, because it's a heck of a great movie. The head of one of the local gangs is released from an 8-year prison sentence, and that actually sounds kind of like Big Time Gambling Boss. The feud forces him into action, but he learns that those pulling the strings have political connections, and he is up against overwhelming forces. A predecessor and blueprint for Fukasaku's Sympathy for the Underdog, Fukasaku's Sympathy for the Underdog. Japanese organized crime boss also signals the director's first collaboration with Bunta Sugawara, the later star of Battles Without Honor and Humanity, as well as Tomisaburo Wakayama from the Bounty Hunter trilogy, and the gangster-turned-movie star Noboru Ando from 18 Years in Prison, which is another release. New 4K restoration by Toei Company, uncompressed mono audio, archival interview with Kinji Fukasaku, new interview with Yakuza film historian Akihiko Ito, and visual essay on Koji Tsuruta's collaborations with Fukasaku by Yakuza cinema expert Nathan Stewart. And those are 15 minutes and 24 minutes, respectively. Actually, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. The interview is 34 minutes. That's from 1999 with Fukasaku. The interview with the Yakuza historian is 15 minutes, and then there's something called Ceremonies of Male Bonding, a visual essay on the collaborations, and that's a new visual essay that is 24 minutes long. Of course, we also get a booklet, which I'll get to in a second. But one of the things they say here about this is that I guess I sort of already mentioned it. It's a blueprint for the future, it's sort of the later work of Fukasaku. So anyway, the booklet, limited edition, writing by Stuart Galbraith IV, and an archival review of the film also included there in this booklet. So that is another interesting Yakuza film from Radiance. Then we have Dogra Magra, another Radiance release, and this one is from 1988, and it says here that it's about a man awakes in an asylum with no memory. I like that kind of open. Amnesia movies are pretty cool most of the time for me. Dr. Wakabayashi helps him to recall his past. Let's see here. In which he killed his bride on their wedding day. Oh dear. Part of his memory becomes linked to another doctor, Dr. Masaki, and a manuscript, Dogra Magra. As the two doctors treat him, reality and fantasy become blurred, and the patient becomes unsure of his identity or his doctor's experiments. The final feature film by Toshio Matsumoto, Funeral Parade of Roses, an incredible film. I think, gosh, Arbelos put out a Blu-ray. I feel like maybe there was even a 4K of that one. Yeah, powerful stuff. is an adaptation of the celebrated novel by Kaisaku Umeno, a period-set gothic tale with a sense of dreamy dread that recalls Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Cure and the locked room mystery of Shutter Island. Ooh, I like those touchstones. A stunningly shot phantasmagoria by Tetsuo Suzuki. Presented on Blu-ray for the first time outside of Japan. Very cool. Let's see here. High definition digital transfer, supervised by the DP and producer. Audio commentary by Toshio Matsumoto from 2003. Interview with Toshio Matsumoto, 2003, 21 minutes. A visual essay by programmer and curator Julian Ross. This is also, of course, got the limited edition book. The Julian Ross essay is 13 minutes. Instructions on Adahora Sutra, a popular Japanese chant delivered by Dr. Masaki in the film by legendary street performer Hiroshi Sakano, and that's 16 minutes. Gallery of Rare Sketches by production designer Takio Kimura, newly scanned from the originals for this release. And it has the limited edition booklet with, let's see here, of course, a reversible sleeve. Limited edition booklet featuring new writing by Hirofumi Sakamoto, president of the post-war Japan Moving Image Archive and author of Jasper Sharp, on screenwriter Atsushi Yamatoya, plus an interview with producer Shuji Shibata and Matsumoto's director's statement. So this is the booklet for that one. It sounds intriguing, I gotta say. I am definitely intrigued by this one as well. And then lastly, we have Slap the Monster on Page 1. A great title, to be sure. And this film is from 1972. And it says, days before a general election, a young girl is raped and murdered. Bizanti, that's Gian Maria Volante, the editor of a right-wing newspaper, uses the story to help the conservative candidate his paper supports. The tumultuous time of Italy's years of lead are captured in Marco Bollaccio's powerful political drama, which directly addressed topics of its day and even prefigured the creation of the right-wing paper Il Giornale, which came into being 2 years after this film. In the age of media manipulation, Slap the Monster on Page 1 has never been more relevant and stands proudly alongside such Italian activist classics as We Still Kill the Old Way and The Mattei Affair. This is a 4K restoration of the film from the original negative by the Cinecittà di Bologna in collaboration with Surf Film and Kavak Film under the supervision of director Marco Bollaccio. Archival interview with Bollaccio, 21 minutes. Newly filmed interview with critic and author Mario Sesti, 25 minutes from 2024. Appreciation by filmmaker Alex Cox, 10 minutes. Would love to know what he has to say about this. And this has a limited edition booklet featuring writing by Wesley Sharer. There's our booklet. Cool stuff. Radiance always putting out, to be honest, I don't really know any of these films. So that is, I got to give them credit. They're always pulling out the obscure stuff. And I really do hope it does well for them because they're a label that I admire very much. So that's the Radiance stuff I have. Now we can move on to some stuff from Eureka. This set really intrigues me. Super Spies and Secret Lies. And films in here are from 66, 67, and 69. Hong Kong action films. So there's 3 of them in this. Following the enormous international success of Dr. No and From Russia with Love, Bond mania swept the globe and initiated a cycle of Bond-sploitation movies. Studios all over the world sought to capitalize on James Bond and the concept of the super spy, including Hong Kong's venerable Shaw Brothers, who began producing tales of intrigue, espionage, and grand theft in the mid-1960s. Eureka Classics presents 3 of their best in this special edition set. You have the Golden Buddha, Angel with the Iron Fists, and the Singing Thief. In the Golden Buddha, businessman Paul Chang Chung from Police Story finds himself in the crosshairs of the skeleton gang after he picks up the wrong briefcase on a flight to Singapore. I do like wrong briefcase movies. They can be fun. Definitely an enjoyable, trope in movies. One containing a small golden Buddha that might just play a part in a vast criminal conspiracy. In Angel with the Iron Fists, a mysterious woman, Lily Ho from Lady with the Sword, arrives in Hong Kong carrying a cache of stolen diamonds and quickly becomes embroiled with the infamous Devil Girls gang. And finally, in The Singing Thief, a master cat burglar, Jimmy Lin Chong, makes decisions to go straight and pursue a career as a singer, that is, at least until he becomes a suspect in a series of jewel heists. So those sound a lot of fun to me. Directed by studio regulars Lo Wei, Chang Che, The Golden Buddha, Angel with the Iron Fist, and The Singing Thief filter a craze for films centered on super spies and master criminals through the inimitable style of the Shaw Brothers studio. All 3 films were presented on Blu-ray for the first time from HD masters supplied by Celestial Pictures. This sounds like a cool set to me. Like I said, I'm very intrigued by this set. I do want to check one thing really quick because I didn't catch in the Radiance Films box set. I'm very curious to know if they list if these are Blu-ray premieres. Shoot, I don't see it listed, so maybe they aren't. Maybe they've been available before. I just wanted to double check that. I always like to kind of note, Blu-ray premieres because that's really exciting. Regardless, that set looks fantastic. So limited edition O-card, original mono audio tracks, optional English subtitles, new audio commentaries by action experts Mike Leader and Arnie Venema. Those guys are really hardworking and do commentaries on tons of Asian cinema releases. I believe for Eureka and 88 Films. I think I've seen them on both. They're just really always cranking. International Super Spies, a new interview with James Bond expert Luella Chapman on global Bond mania in the 60s. A new interview with Hong Kong cinema scholar Wayne Wong, editor of Martial Arts Studies. A reversible sleeve and individual sleeve artwork on each film. So I'm very curious how that works. So you have 2 discs, and you have your booklet. Limited edition collector's booklet featuring a new writing on all 3 films by Lane Robert Smith, author of The Hollywood Meme, Transnational Adaptations in World Cinema. So like I said, a cool looking set for sure. And definitely one that I'm curious to dig into. I do love the impact that the Bond films had on 60s cinema. There are so many, both American and foreign, spoofs and, just spy films in general. I think, one of my favorites that I saw for the first time this year in a nice version was Kiss the Girls and Make Them Die. A huge favorite of Quentin Tarantino's. Got to see his print of it, and it's really a special one. But there's so many, spoofs, the Matt Helm stuff. Anyway, got a lot to talk about, so I got to keep it moving here. So next one is The Sword. And this is from 1980. Best known as a key contributor to the Hong Kong New Wave as the director of My Heart is That Eternal Rose and the editor of Wong Kar-wai's Days of Being Wild and Ashes of Time, Patrick Tam began his filmmaking career with The Sword, a love letter to the wuxia genre, starring Adam Cheng from Zoo Warriors from the Magic Mountain. Believing that he is in possession of a cursed blade, I hate it when that happens, the legendary swordsman Huai Quan Shu has retreated from the martial arts world to live in peaceful seclusion. However, his retirement has done nothing to dampen his reputation. A young warrior, Lee Mak-jan, wishes to challenge the master in order to test his own sword fighting skill, but as Lee searches for the reclusive man so that he might face him in combat, he finds himself entangled with old lovers and new rivals. Soon it becomes apparent that the old master's sword really might be cursed and will perhaps bring nothing but tragedy to those who seek to wield it. After a period of dormancy, wuxia films resurged in the 1980s as the likes of Duel to the Death, Bastard Swordsman, and Chewy Hark's Zoo Warriors from the Magic Mountain rejected the realist approach adopted by Kung Fu cinema in the previous decade. Eureka Classics is proud to present Patrick Tam's The Sword, one of the earliest and best pictures to emerge from this wuxia revival, for the first time on Blu-ray in the UK from a brand new 2K restoration. And this includes limited edition O-card, original Cantonese audio and optional English dub, optional English subtitles, newly translated. All of these seem to have newly translated subtitles, by the way, which I should mention as I go. But new audio commentary by East Asian film expert Frank Zhang, also does tons of these commentaries. These guys, I mean, I respect the heck out of this. And then, of course, a new audio commentary by action cinema experts Mike Leader and Arnie Venema. Andrew Heskins on The Sword, a new interview with film critic Andrew Heskins from Eastern Kicks, and Forging Ahead, a new interview with the martial arts expert Wayne Wong on The Sword and the wuxia genre. Limited edition collector's booklet featuring an archival interview with director Patrick Tam and a new essay by East Asian cinema expert Lung Wing Fai. So that is The Sword from 1980. Then we move on to some 88 films, Asian releases. So The Sword is a Region A release, as is Super Spies and Secret Lies. This one, The Kung Fu Instructor, from 1979, is a Region A and B release. This is from 88 Films, and this one looks intriguing. In this bitterly divided in town, there's no middle ground. You're either one side or the other. Cross the line and face dire consequences. One clan hires a kung fu master, played by the great Tai Lung, from A Better Tomorrow, to break the stalemate, but he's nobody's servant, and his loyalties can't be bought so easily. Inspired by Kurosawa's Yojimbo and Sergio Leone's A Fistful of Dollars, the Kung Fu Instructor puts a slightly more cynical spin on the traditional codes of honor, stylishly directed by Sung Chun, who did Human Lanterns, which is another Blu-ray from them that I bought, and I haven't had a chance to watch yet, but I've heard great things about. 88 Films was proud to present the UK Blu-ray premiere of this martial arts masterpiece. It has 4 art cards inside, and you got your slipcase. This is the reverse artwork. Got your art cards there. And so this is a HD transfer from the original negative in 2:3:5:1 aspect ratio. I do love me some widescreen. Let's see here. High definition 1080p presentation, 2.0 English mono dub, 2.0 Mandarin mono with English subtitles. It doesn't look like it has any other features on it. So if you're a fan of the movie, you definitely want to grab this. Not too much in the way of features, unfortunately, but still very cool as part of the continuing 88 Films forceful pursuit of Asian cinema. Next from them, we have Kid from Kwang Tung, and this is from 1982, Region A and B, and it is from the legendary Shaw Brothers studio, of course. And here's something a bit funnier than their usual fare. After an evil martial arts master, played by the very great Wang Jiang Li from Snake in the Eagle Shadow, kills their own teacher, Wang Yu, and Chang Kam realize that they're next. But the squabbling duo put their differences aside long enough to defeat him. Can they do it? We shall see. With spirited slapstick, supernatural silliness, and some jaw-dropping fights that really have to be seen to be believed, Kid from Kwang Tung is gravity-defying treat from the glory days of Hong Kong cinema. 88 Films are proud to unleash this classic comedy on Blu-ray. Also has art cards and also has a reverse wrap. And I don't think it has any features, but we will look in just a second. Art cards. So, in terms of features, it just says HD transfer from the original negative in 235 to 1. English dub, mono, Cantonese, subtitles, versatile sleeve. Yeah, that's it in terms of features. So that is the Kid from Kwang Tung. And lastly, from 88 Films, we have from 1973, Facets of Love. And I haven't heard of any of these movies, by the way. I guess my Asian cinema chops are a little weak in some areas. A costume drama like no other, Facets of Love tells the stories of the Shanghai brothel in the early years of the 20th century, of its devious owners, of the unhappy innocents that have been tricked into toiling there, and of the entitled men who visit the ordinary and the illustrious. A good deal saucier than the martial arts movies that its producers at the Shaw Brothers Studio are most famous for, Lee Sang-han's film is a sensual indulgence with beautiful design and photography. There's even a small appearance from Jackie Chan. 88 Films is proud to present the UK Blu-ray premiere of this sumptuous, decadent delight. HD transfer from the original negative in 235 to 1. 2.0 Mandarin mono with English subtitles, no English dub. Region AB, and reversible sleeve, art cards. No, sorry, original Hong Kong poster art. I don't think this has the art cards, actually. That's not listed. So that is my last of the 88 Films releases. Now on to some MVD adjacent stuff. Some stuff is from MVD proper. Like this one is from MVD Visual. It's called Blue Christmas. And I want to say this is brand new, like from this year. Very curious about this one. It's from Max Allan Collins, who is the creator of Road to Perdition. So this is interesting. It's a Christmas noir private eye movie, and I'm a big fan of that. Big fan of Christmas noirs. Chicago 1942, at his Christmas Eve office party, private eye Richard Stone celebrates bribing his way out of the draft. He's a disappointment to his secretary / main squeeze, Katie Crockett, whose brother Ben is fighting overseas, and his honest young employee, Joey Ernest, is guilt-ridden over all the divorce rackets keyhole-style peeping. Just a year ago tonight, Stone's sleazy partner, Jake Marley, was murdered, a crime that the detective didn't bother solving. After Stone is visited by an ankle-chained Jake on leave from purgatory to demand his murder be solved, 3 more visitors arrive to help one at a time, the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. Bonnie of Bonnie and Clyde infamy, a recently deceased soldier, an estranged entity who might be the king of rock and roll. So this sounds pretty nuts, and obviously a take on the Christmas Carol in a noir form, so I'm into this idea for sure. From the creator of Road to Perdition comes a fantasy brimming with chills, humor, and heart. Rob Merritt and Midwest superstar Elizabeth Von Presley from American Idol lead a cast of 24 in a new seasonal soon-to-be classic. And this includes a commentary by writer-director Max Allan Collins and his producer-editor. And there's a documentary featuring Max Allan Collins and a Q&A from advanced theatrical screenings also included. So this looks intriguing. It definitely looks like it was done on a budget, but this looks like the kind of thing that you would see at a video store, and this is where the loss of video stores hurts us the most. You'd see this on a video store. You're, having a quiet week at home. It's Christmas, and you're like, hey, why not? Let's try it out. But now I feel like this is the kind of movie that gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. This is an all-region disc, by the way. It's got a quote from my friend and friend of the channel, Heath Holland from Serial at Midnight. He says, "A hard-boiled tale crafted with humanity and humor. Max Allan Collins proves yet again that he is a master storyteller." Way to go, Heath. Very cool. So that is Blue Christmas. Oh, and it's also got a quote from Scott Beck and Brian Woods, the creators of A Quiet Place. "Collins is a master of noir and brings decades of his deep-rooted love of the genre to Blue Christmas." So that's that one. Then we have, speaking of video stores, I must have seen this cover. This is Men of War, from it's got to be from the 90s, right? Because it would have been 94. Yeah, that makes sense. This is a Dolph Lundgren movie. This is a MVD Rewind Collection release in their classic retro packaging with the rental stickers. I love that. That's a nice touch. So this Blu-ray features Dolph Lundgren, and I never did get a chance to see it, although I saw this cover, and I was into Red Scorpion. I was into Dolph Lundgren post Rocky IV, and so I was very curious about his releases, but this one slipped by me for whatever reason. Warriors paid to fight, not to think, but that's all about to change. Action hero Dolph Lundgren thrilled you in Rocky IV and Universal Soldier. Now he's back in the heart-stopping Men of War. Nick Gunner, that's Lundgren, is part of a top-flight team of ex-Special Forces agents hired by ruthless con men. Their mission to carry out a secret operation and overtake an exotic island that's loaded with precious jade. But once there, the agents led by Lundgren defect to defend the islanders against the savage attackers. It's non-stop action as Lundgren and his elite group wage war to defeat the deadly opposition at any cost. From acclaimed screenwriter John Sayles. Holy smokes. Well, I never did catch that. You'll love every hard-hitting minute. So this is a John Sayles script. And this movie has just gone way up in my estimation in terms of something I want to watch much more quickly than... Just looking down the cast, Tiny Zeus Lister is in here. That's always wonderful. And Kevin Feige is also... He was Freaks and Geeks. You'd recognize him. He's in tons of stuff. Directed by Perry Lang. So this includes... Does it have any features is the question. Of course. 235-1, of course. Let's see. New introduction by director Perry Lang, archival featurette, An Unsafe Place, Making Men of War, 12 and a half minutes or almost 13 minutes. Dailies of select scenes of Men of War, about 9:45. That's an XD. And the trailer plus a collectible mini poster, which is something that's cool that they include in these MVD Rewind discs. So that'll fold out. Very cool. And man, how did I miss? I thought I looked up all of John Sayles' credits, but somehow I missed that he's the writer on this. Gosh darn. Wow. It looks like he's not the only writer. There's a story by credit, and there's Sayles and Ethan Reef. So it's Sayles and Ethan Reef and Cyrus Voris. So it's obvious that maybe he did some punch up on it or something, because the way it's listed, it's him and this other guy, ampersand this other guy, and those two were obviously a team. So anyway, still interesting he had his hands in it, as he's a big favorite of mine. Okay, this looks intriguing. 1982, The Greatest Geek Year Ever. This is from the Rewind collection as well. And, I'm a sucker for 80s nostalgia. I've been especially occupied with the 80s this year because of my VHS fixation over the last, 5 months or whatever. So MVD Rewind Collection is proud to present 1982 Greatest Geek Year Ever in its original unedited feature length for the first time. It's an epic documentary about the greatest geek year in films, 1982, featuring stars, directors, writers, producers, and pop culture historians sharing their insights about such legendary movies as E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Blade Runner, John Carpenter's The Thing, Star Trek II Wrath of Khan, Poltergeist, Creepshow, Night Shift. Ooh, Night Shift. I love Night Shift. The Dark Crystal, 48 Hours, First Blood, Tron, Conan the Barbarian, Cat People, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, The Road Warrior, and much, much more. Filled with exclusive interviews, rare behind-the-scenes footage, and exclusive never-before-seen clips, including Henry Winkler's home movies from the set of Night Shift. Holy crap. All right. That I got to see. I just can't underplay how much I love Night Shift. It's one of my big comfort movies. I probably watched it like 4 times in the last 4 years. More than that. I've watched it multiple times since 2020. Anyway, that is fascinating. In a fun, lively, no-hold-barred celebration of the legendary movie-going year of 1982, it takes the viewers behind the scenes to a time when fandom was in its infancy, featuring eye-opening interviews with Ron Howard, Paul Schrader, John Sayles, there's the man again, I love it, Amy Heckerling, Henry Winkler, William Shatner, Sean Young, Joanna Cassidy, Keith David, holy cow, Cameron Crowe, Michael Dealey, Lisa Henson, Dean Devlin, Bruce Campbell, Dee Wallace, Felicia Day, Susan Seidelman, she's great, Roger Corman, Barry Bostwick, Mark Singer, Brian Fuller, Leonard Maltin, yes, Mike Medavoy, and more in front of and behind the camera from some of the biggest and most influential movies ever made. Wow, that is sounding pretty great. Let's see here. Audio commentary with director-producer Roger Lay Jr. and writer-producer Mark A. Altman. Audio commentary with producers Scott Mans, Thomas P. Vitale, and writer-producer Mark A. Altman. And deleted extended scenes, 40 minutes, almost 41 minutes of extra stuff there. The Fans Speak, Fans' Favorite Films featurette, that's almost 17 minutes long, plus 2022 San Diego Comic-Con panel that's almost 30 minutes long. So this sounds really cool. I am definitely into checking this out. I got to get this going in my player maybe tonight. So very cool doc from the MVD Rewind collection, 1982, the greatest geek year ever. And then just a couple more things. We have Zizek Road. This is a 4K Ultra HD movie that I believe it's a brand new film, starring Katherine Heigl, Leo Grillo, and Tom Sizemore. So this is a 4K and a Blu-ray. And 2 adulterous lovers head to the desert to bury the corpse of her jealous boyfriend, only to discover that the body is missing from the trunk. I like this setup. An illicit affair between an accountant locked in an unhappy marriage and a seductive Las Vegas beauty leads them both down a dangerous path. Grant, Leo Grillo, loves his daughter but can't stand the sight of his wife. Determined to make a killing in Las Vegas, he heads into the local casino and crosses paths with Marissa, Katherine Heigl, who has a very, I think, popular dog foods company, but like high-end dog food. I was buying it from her for a while. Badlands Ranch, I think it's called, which I think is fascinating. Big dog person. Before long, the pair are back in Grant's hotel room, where things quickly get hot and heavy, but it all goes wrong when Marissa's violent ex-boyfriend Joey, that's Tom Sizemore, crashes through the door in a fit of rage. When the smoke clears, Joey is dead. Determined not to spend the rest of their lives in prison, Grant and Marissa plot to bury the body on Zizek's Road. When the corpse goes missing, the couple starts to question whether Joey was ever really dead in the first place. They get their answer when Joey mysteriously reappears, resuming the fight under the dark desert sky. Eventually, the 2 brawlers realize they'd been drawn into a mystery where no one can be trusted, and each move could be their last. So this is from Dark Arts Entertainment, and does it not have Oh, there's lots of stuff here. Okay, so again, this is from MVD Visual too. We have 4K and a Blu-ray. What Happens in Vegas Gets Buried on Zizek's Road. Okay, 4K restoration of the film, supervised by director John Penny and presented in HDR. New introduction by director John Penny and actor Leo Grillo. Commentary track with actor-producer Leo Grillo. Commentary track with writer-director-producer John Penny. That's on the 4K and also on the Blu-ray. And on the Blu-ray, you also get the Legacy of Zizek Road featurette, 11 archival behind-the-scenes featurettes, archival interview with director John Penny, shooting location then and now featurette, storyboard to scenes featurette, a storyboard slideshow, the mystery of Zizek's Road music video. I guess this is from 2007. My bad. So this has been around a little while, but one that I missed somehow. If there had been a video store at the time that I could have gone to, this is something I would have probably stumbled across. But yeah, so that's Zizek's Road on 4K and Blu-ray. And just a couple more things here. This is a DVD, but one that I'm really intrigued by, called Found Emulsion. And saving cult cinema one frame at a time. A deep dive into the world of outsider cinema, celebrating the lost or forgotten cult classics and the people who are trying to save them. This film dives deep into the world. Let's see here. Mind-bending exploitation flicks. Discover the passion behind preserving these unique and unconventional films. I'm curious about this one as to who are some of the folks involved, because I don't know much about it, and it sounds intriguing to me, and it feels like there's got to be some folks that I guess not. It doesn't list who's involved, so I got to check it out. Yeah, anything about film preservation is kind of my stuff, you know? It's kind of the just an area that I don't know that I would be a great archivist, but it's definitely something that is a field I would consider if I ever had gotten the training. I think maybe it's too late for me, but ultimately it's a field that intrigues me on a level of like learning and potential employment. It's just something I'm really into. So this doc sounds really great. No features on it. It's from Wild Eye Releasing, but I'm definitely down to check that out. Okay, this just weirds me out. Abruptio. That cover, I don't know. There's just something about these faces that just really... everyone's a puppet, it says. Sorry. So this is... Les Hackle hates his life. He works a dead-end job, was dumped by his high-maintenance girlfriend, and still lives with his nagging mom. One night he discovers a fresh incision behind his neck. His friend Danny tells him it's a bomb that someone has implanted implanted one in his neck too. And then messages start coming in, forcing Les to carry out missions with deadly results. Les is partnered up with a series of oddball characters to commit heinous tasks. The violence escalating around him, Les pieces together the clues that reveal the horrific plans to breed a monstrous race of beings. This sounds like a crazy movie. Let's see. It includes some bonus material, new kind of horror, interviews with the performers and filmmakers, audio commentary track with writer-director Evan Marlowe and producer Carrie Marlowe, and audio commentary with track with puppeteer Danny Montooth. First pressing Blu-ray comes with limited edition slipcover, which is this. And yeah, I am incredibly intrigued by, is everybody puppets in this movie? Like, this one I just need to watch. This is an Anchor Bay production. So Anchor Bay is kind of back with this. I think this is like a brand new movie. So it's MVD and Anchor Bay together, and there seems to be puppets in this, and man, that sounds crazy. Abruptio is astonishing, a film full of puppets that probes the depth of humanity. Yeah, I gotta see what the heck this is all about. But like I said, kind of unnerving. But cool that Anchor Bay is back in the game. Okay, lastly, we have the Toxic Crusaders, the series, which I didn't even know was a thing, if I'm honest. This is... Watch the classic Saturday morning cartoon like never before. Maybe I did know this was a thing. I don't think I ever saw it, but Based on Troma's cult classic Smash, The Toxic Avenger, the Toxic Crusaders animated series follows the adventures of that lovable, deformed creature of superhuman size and strength, Toxie. Along with his new friends, Yvonne, No-Zone, Headbanger, and Junkyard, watch as Toxie stands up for truth and justice against the evil Dr. Killamoff and his hordes of heinous henchmen in this complete series collection. This has, of course, an interview with Lloyd Kaufman. Man, that guy's done a ton of introduction. It's got an introduction. He always does introductions. Original Toxic Crusaders toy commercials and TV spots. Feature-length documentary about the making of Toxic Crusaders video game from Retroware, and long-lost archival interview from your favorite mop-wielding mutant, plus bonus cartoons. So that is certainly intriguing. All region from Troma. The animation does look, I don't know. Anyway, that'll do it for this round of stuff. Thank you for sticking around if you did, and thank you for listening. Anyway, I will talk to you very soon. Goodbye.